some very interesting news coming out of a interesting news source, I guess, of about the individual that almost took the memester himself, the memester in chief, Donald Trump, almost took him away from us 10 days ago. By the way, just want to point out the former director of the Secret Service has stepped down, but until that point, had not even visited the site of the most significant intelligence failure in United States history outside of maybe Pearl Harbor. It is absolutely wild, and there's some new articles talking about the final months and days leading up to it, talking about potential FBI involvement, talking about how new investigators have visited the home, people in asking questions of their parents and their grocery shopping, all this stuff to talk about. And if you're enjoying my coverage, and I hope that you are, please do like the video right now. And if you haven't subscribed or followed wherever you might be, please do that. It helps immensely. Let's get into this. By the way, my coffee company, Coffee Brand Coffee, we roast our own stuff, ultra small batch. We are not some drop ship outlet. We handle everything from soup to nuts. I dial in every flavor myself, handle the roast levels, all that kind of stuff. We just released our summer flavors: s'mores, orange creamsicle, hazelnut churro, and blackberry cream, all for a limited time. Promo code SUMMER will save you 15%. We also have non-flavored coffee, K-Cups, decaf, double calf, dark roast, light roast, Ethiopian, Colombian, everything you could possibly want right here for you. You support the channel and get some great coffee. Add a little flavor, unflavored creamer and a little sweetener to this, and it's really, really going to pop for you. So I'll leave a link in the description below. Someone who regularly visited Lee Tardy Oswald, their home and work, also visited a building in Washington, D.C., located in Gallery Place. This is in the same vicinity of an FBI office on June 26, 2023. Whose device is this? Now, I don't know how Oversight Project works. I don't know how they get cell phone information. So, like, I'm telling you, I don't know how credible this is. This also says another device linked to crooks visited Plymouth, Massachusetts. You can see here, travel to Plymouth, Massachusetts via Pittsburgh to Boston flight. They're tracking the cell phone, Logan International Airport. We found a device linked to crooks' work that traveled to Butler, PA on July 4th and July 8th. So we could be looking at someone who had went there multiple times in the weeks leading up to the rally to plan. Nobody noticed them. On August 30th, one device linked to crook visited Allegheny Arms. So that's where I think he got his ammo. Then here's all the relevant locations within Bethel Park, Pennsylvania that are linked to both Crooks' home and place of work. For those that are tracking this type of data, we identified devices that were located at Crooks' home and his work within the past year. There were at least 9 devices linked to these AD-IDs. We are willing to cooperate with legitimate investigations to share further information. For the protection of whistleblowers and our investigations, we will not be sharing further information with the Congressional Task Force due to the connective tissue between that entity and the FBI, U.S. Secret Service, and other entities. If you look at some of these replies, looks like the person with this device may have been just going to an event at the Capital One Arena. The FBI office looks further down the street. Still very interesting data. Thank you for sharing. I'm not super. Here you have the Washington Wizards Capital One Arena, and here you have the FBI headquarters. It absolutely could be a coincidence. That's why I don't think it's like super strong data. But what I will say is it's been 10 days, ladies and gentlemen. It has been 10 days since we got any information on this, any reasonable information. It has been 10 days. We have no official story, no official reports. The Secret Service says they need 60 days, which is absolute baloney sausage. We've got nothing. I hearken this back. I think back to what happened, with the towers. We knew that night who was responsible. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong about this part, but I feel like we knew the passengers and pilots of the other planes that night. We knew which organization they were linked to, allegedly. All this kind of stuff. You see this, we found the assassin's connections through our in-depth analysis of mobile ads. Oh, that's how they did it. Okay. That track movements of Crooks and his associates. To do so, we tracked down devices that regularly visited both Crooks' home and place of work and followed them. Someone who regularly visited Crooks' home and work also visited a building in Washington, D.C., located in Gallery Place. This is in the same vicinity of an FBI office on June 26th, 2023. So that was a year ahead of time. Could be completely anecdotal. It's wild that they can collect this kind of data, though. Then you look at the Wall Street Journal, tracing the Trump, Lee Tardy's final months and days. People are starting to put this kind of stuff together. We have this. Pennsylvania investigators visit Lee Tardy's home on Sunday for over an hour. What were they there doing? What were they there collecting? We don't know. We saw this video shared originally by Breaking 911 and then also Luke Rudkowski. By the way, shout out to Luke Rudkowski for doing some great co-hosting work for me. I tried to convince him to move to Wisconsin because I thought we had good chemistry and good flow, and I thought, he could do great up here in Wisconsin. He could bring his German Shepherd out. We could have a little my neighbor's houses, could be, rented or something, but he wanted to stay in Miami. Anyway, he says, so you're telling me that the Secret Service had full view of the person who went after Trump the entire time. Here's the video. That's the roof. Full view of it. They could see the guy the entire time. Video shows Secret Service perched at the Trump Butler rally had full view of the roof. So either they weren't paying attention, they were told to stand down, all this stuff, all of this could be the case. We talked about Cheadle, the former head of Secret Service, when asked about radio communications, that the local law enforcement working with Secret Service weren't even on the same radios. They weren't even on the same radios. I mean, why weren't they on the same channel? Why weren't these people on the same channel? Is that why Secret Service never heard any kind of warnings? Is that it? Also, unsolved mystery, his final thoughts as he, went forward with his attack. Well, we know he was enjoying some spicy videos. We know that from his search history. A week after the attempt on Donald Trump's life, and hundreds of interviews later, still no motive. I don't believe that. Do you believe that? Do you believe that there is no motive for this guy? Do you believe even for a second? We don't know anything about caliber. We don't know anything about... We know nothing. Where are the comms? Were they deleted? I wouldn't be surprised. It's an unanswerable question worthy of a novel by Graham Greene. Did Thomas Crooks pass away believing that he was successful? After the first hurled past, Trump did grab his ear, quickly saw blood, and his hands dropped to the ground. And in the 26 seconds between his first shot and Secret Service taking him out, it's conceivable that he thought he had accomplished his mission. Described by his classmates as a classic loner who kept a low profile and sat solo at school lunch, his motive, like that of several people who had done it before, appears to have been to achieve notoriety. A craving to be famous, the Daily Beast reported last week, is one that drives these types of people in common, and it ties these people together. They also tend to be white and acting alone. Why do you think that is? Is it possible that they have an archetype that is like, targeted for this type of thing? Is that possible? Is it possible that there's a group of people that identifies these people and gets them ready to do what they want them to do? I don't know. There's no evidence to suggest Crooks was politically motivated. He was a registered Republican. They keep pushing that lie. Even when there's at least one interview out there that I know of that says that Crooks hated Trump. And he had also donated $15 to Joe Biden. His mother and father is a counselor. The father's a counselor and registered Democrat. Crooks Sr. and Thomas's older sisters are libertarian. So, is it possible? We do know that he planned everything carefully. On Friday, the day before, he spent much of the day at the range. On Saturday, he went to Home Depot at 9 a.m. to buy the ladder and bought 50 rounds of ammo. According to Fox News, investigators said he drove to the rally in his Hyundai Sonata. He left behind 2 rudimentary devices and a vest and a drone that may have been used early in the day. It was used early in the day. We know that. As he lay on the warehouse roof, focused his scope, and pulled the trigger of his father's tool, he would have seen Trump's immediate reaction. He spent days and hours visualizing this exact moment. Here is somebody asking questions of the father. Now, I generally don't support. I generally am not a huge fan of going after the parents, unless you can make a case that they knew something. It is my opinion that his parents did know something, because his parents did call the police on him. They said they were worried about him. Why would they do that? Now, he did take all their weapons, but they knew he was at the range. So why did his parents call the police? Here's an interview of his dad getting what appears to be an enormous amount of groceries.
Matthew, why would your son want to kill the president?
Back off.
No comment.
No comment.
I don't know if this is his sister, but they're wearing a mask outside. Now, maybe to try and conceal their identity, but why are they all dressed in black? Now, here's the other thing that we need to talk about. We need to go and talk about what happened in Buffalo. The parents of the person that did something similar in Buffalo went to jail. So that's what they're probably worried about. That's why they're not issuing any statements.
Were there any warning signs, Matthew?
No comment.
How's Mary holding up?
No comment.
My guess is they're grocery shopping at 2 or 3 in the morning.
We'll release a statement when our legal counsel advises us to do so. Until then, we have no comment. We just want to try to take care of ourselves right now.
You're not taking very good care of yourself. By the way, from what people said, both of these people his parents were mental health people. Again, going after the parents can be a little uncomfortable, but I do think the parents need to be ruled out. What did the parents know? Did they, were they connected to anybody? Were they, I don't know. I think that, things are a little bit different when you're talking about the president and you're talking about parents that very well may have known exactly what was happening. We'll have to see how these interviews shake out. I assume we'll be waiting years for the truth, but I'm going to stay covering this story because that's my job. And I hope that you will follow the channel or subscribe to the channel, and I will keep covering it as long as I'm able to.